Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP Today. Francesco Bagnaia shared insights into a risky decision on the final lap of the MotoGP Japanese Grand Prix Sprint that nearly cost him the win. The reigning world champion had a significant lead, but slowing down due to rain made the last lap more dramatic than expected. Following a controversial decision at the Japanese Grand Prix, MotoGP race director Webb has explained why Marc Márquez's pole lap in Q2 was not immediately cancelled after exceeding track limits. Marquez, who was initially set for a strong qualifying result, saw his lap cancelled too late to attempt another, leaving him frustrated and affecting his starting position for the race. Marc Márquez once again showcased his resilience at the Japanese Grand Prix Sprint, finishing on the podium after facing a tough qualifying session. Despite a technical incident and challenging weather conditions, Marquez highlighted his speed and ability to adapt. Let's dive into his reflections on the race and his thoughts for the upcoming main event. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Francesco Bagnaia led much of the Japanese GP sprint race after an early crash by poleman Pedro Acosta. Bagnaia had built a comfortable 1.3-second lead heading into the final lap, benefiting from a fierce battle behind him involving Enea Bastianini and Marc Márquez. However, Bagnaia suddenly reduced his pace when rain started to fall on the final lap, causing his gap to shrink dramatically. He crossed the finish line just 0.181s ahead of Bastianini, narrowly securing his third consecutive sprint win. I took a risk on the last lap by slowing down a bit too much because I saw I had a margin. The rain made the conditions tricky, but everything was under control. Quote from Francesco Bagnaia. Bagnaia explained that the unpredictable weather played a crucial role in his decision-making. He believed he could afford to slow down given his gap but admitted that he may have reduced his pace more than necessary. When I saw the gap at 1.3 seconds, I thought I could slow down by a second. I did, but maybe I slowed down too much. Still, I'm very happy with the result, Bagnaia told by Crash. Throughout the weekend, Bagnaia had been working well with his team to adjust to the changing conditions, especially after struggling during the previous round in Mandalika. The rain and wet patches at Motegi, however, added extra challenges. Another factor that complicated Bagnaia's race was the need to manage fuel consumption. Bagnaia revealed in park from that he had to use a lower power map for the entire race after burning extra fuel during the sighting lap to gauge track conditions. I had to complete the race on a lower power map to save fuel. It meant sacrificing some performance, but everything was fine in the end. Bagnaia's win has allowed him to close the gap to championship leader Jorge Martin, with just 15 points separating them now. The crash of Pedro Acosta, who was leading at 1 point, gifted Bagnaia a few extra points. Looking ahead to the Grand Prix on Sunday, Bagnaia expects Acosta to be a strong contender after his crash in the sprint race. Pedro was doing a very good job today. I expect him to be strong today in the race. We'll have to be ready, Pecco concluded. Despite the rain and fuel challenges, Francesco Bagnaia secured a thrilling win in the Japanese GP Sprint. His focus now shifts to Sunday's Grand Prix, where he faces fierce competition as the championship battle intensifies. Stay tuned for more MotoGP updates. Marc Márquez set a fast lap of 1 minute and 42.868 seconds in the final moments of Q2, which initially put him on provisional pole for the Japanese Grand Prix. However, the lap was later cancelled for a track limits violation, a decision that wasn't communicated until after the checkered flag had fallen. The Gresini team was angered by the delay, which left Márquez no time to put in a legal lap in deteriorating track conditions. Track limits violations are typically flagged immediately by sensors placed along the green-painted runoff areas, where any advantage gained is deemed illegal. In this case, however, a software glitch delayed the automatic cancellation of Márquez's lap. Due to the raindrops, I didn't push after my 1 minute and 42.868 seconds lap, thinking it was a solid one. But then, they cancelled it too late, and there was no time to try again. Quote from Marc Márquez. After requests from Crash.net, MotoGP race director Webb issued an official statement clarifying what went wrong during the incident. The track limits sensor was triggered immediately, which leads to the automatic cancellation of any lap. The FIM MotoGP stewards entered it into the system right away, but unfortunately, a software glitch interrupted this process and meant the lap then needed to be cancelled manually, causing a delay to the notification. Quote from Webb. This glitch, according to Webb, is the first of its kind in thousands of track limits infractions investigated each season. He assured that the issue has been located and resolved to prevent it from happening again. The cause of this glitch has been located, and the system adjusted to ensure it cannot happen again. Webb added. Despite the setback, Marc Márquez remained focused and managed to recover some lost ground during the sprint race, where he finished third. Starting from ninth due to the Q2 incident, Márquez once again demonstrated his resilience, battling through the field in difficult weather conditions to secure a podium finish. We made the best of the situation in the sprint. I was frustrated, but I had to put it behind me and focus on the race. Quote from Marc Márquez. As the MotoGP Championship heads toward its final stages, Márquez's form and resilience continue to be a talking point. Though his qualifying result was affected by the glitch, his strong performance in the sprint race shows he is still very much in the fight. Fans and teams alike will be watching closely to see how Márquez navigates the upcoming challenges, especially with the lessons learned from the Motegi weekend. Marc Márquez may have faced a setback in qualifying due to a rare technical glitch, but his determination and ability to bounce back are clear. As the MotoGP season continues, we can expect to see Márquez pushing for more podium finishes. Stay tuned for more from the world of MotoGP. Marc Márquez's sprint race podium came after a difficult qualifying session marred by an unusual incident. Márquez touched the green during his lap, but a delayed notification due to a connection issue prevented him from attempting another fast lap. This forced the Gresini rider to start from a less favorable grid position. We are experts at making life difficult for ourselves. If it's not for one thing, it's for another. In qualifying, we had a bit of bad luck. I touched the green, but the notification came super late, which had never happened before. There was some kind of Wi-Fi connection error. Quote from Marc Márquez. Márquez explained that had he known earlier, he would have risked another lap. However, the combination of bad luck and light rain in qualifying left him frustrated. Nevertheless, he shifted his focus to the sprint, determined to show his pace. Despite the setbacks in qualifying, Márquez put in a solid performance in the sprint race. He battled his way up the grid and managed to stay close to the leader, showcasing his trademark determination. Once that is over, it is up to the athlete to focus on the sprint race, forget about it, and from there I did the best I knew how. We had that battle and stayed close to the leader, which is the important thing. One of the key battles was with Jorge Martin. Márquez managed to overtake Martin, using his experience to handle the pressure and maintain his position. Martin was in front. I was able to catch him, pass him, and go. Little by little, I calmed down when I felt the pressure from the front increase. I attacked in those last laps and started to feel a little better. The weather conditions in the sprint race were far from ideal, with humidity and light drizzle, known as siramiri, affecting the riders. However, Márquez noted that despite the tricky conditions, the pace was extremely fast. It is true that the conditions were tricky, but the pace was fast. The track record was set on pole, and in the sprint race we ran the entire race in 1:44, which is a very fast time. While the track was challenging, Márquez adapted well, and his ability to manage the race in these conditions contributed to his strong result. Looking ahead to Sunday's main race, Márquez was cautiously optimistic. He acknowledged the importance of the start, and the potential impact of tire wear in the second half of the race. Marquez also emphasized that getting a good start will be crucial to staying in contention. Today will be a very long race, especially when the tires wear down in the second half. Once again, it will be determined by the start. If it goes well and we get ahead, it will be much easier. But it will depend on that first lap," Marquez concluded. Despite a challenging season, Marquez continues to push himself and remains focused on improving his results. His determination and ability to extract the maximum from his bike make him a constant threat on the grid, even in difficult circumstances. Marc Márquez's podium finish in the Japanese Grand Prix Sprint shows that even in the face of adversity, the Spanish rider continues to impress. With a long race ahead on Sunday, Marquez is keeping his focus sharp and ready to battle for a top result. Stay tuned for more updates from the Japanese Grand Prix. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. See you in the next video.